So welcome to this video. My name is Alex, and I just received a comment on one of my videos asking me to make a video about 3 days of darkness starting on December the 21st and whether it has any biblical foundation. Now, there seems to be very little biblical foundation for this idea, but what I want to talk to you about is how many things like this, the media, this is just the beginning, the media is going to be encouraging people to see things in a very, very dark way. And it has been for a long, long time. It's been very subtle for a very long time. So the media, essentially, its prime agenda now is to bring fear into our hearts. So we have to remember that God's wish or God's desire is that our heart is full of joy and our heart is full of light, and that our mind is full of light. So we live in peace when we're close to God. Then there is no reason to be afraid. There is no reason to get into these all doom and gloom scenarios and this sensationalism, which the media is specialist. The media is a specialist in sensationalism because it gets attention. If there's a sensationalist story or a sensationalist headline, then it gets people's attention. So if you see anything sensationalist in the media saying, "Watch out, this is going to happen," or "Watch out, this is coming," or then know that it is probably a lie. And especially if it's dark, when your mind is with God, when your heart is with God, and when you trust God and you live simply and you don't watch the media, then your reality, your perception of reality is one of light, one of peace, one of joy. But the media wants your attention, your mind, your heart to be full of fear, worry for what's coming. This dystopian attitude that terrible things are coming and great darkness is going to fall upon the earth. And, of course the Bible warns us of these times, specifically in the book of Revelation. But we don't need to have darkness in our mind. We don't need to have fear in our mind. The importance of understanding that these times are coming is so that we can come closer to God, so that we realize that we really, really need to be with God in these times. Because it's the only way we're going to have light in our mind and peace in our heart is if we're with God. Because if you're with God, then the fear, the darkness, the negativity, the pessimism cannot touch you. Because you've got the truth here and you've got the truth here. God is the truth. So when the truth is in your mind and in your heart, there cannot be any darkness, because God is light and God is love. And so there cannot be any darkness where there is light. And where there cannot be any darkness, there cannot be any fear where there is love, because perfect love casts out fear. So this is a really important point, because the media is harnessing all its powers to create this dystopian worldview, this pessimistic outlook on the future. And it's really doing this a lot through the pop industry, trying to get young people into seeing a really negative and dark future. It's doing it obviously through Hollywood, through TV programs, but through books, YouTube, you name it, social media, advertising. The media wants you to be afraid, but God wants you to be in peace. God wants you to have peace and light in your mind and in your heart, and not to be afraid, but to have faith and to be a voice, be a beacon of light, so that other people realize that they do not need to be afraid. There is no reason to be afraid at all. It's all propaganda. If you look how hard the media is trying incredibly hard to paint this scenario of doom, gloom, fear, pessimism, hopelessness. That's why it's using all its powers, all its tendrils, books, magazines, pop music, video games, everything, Hollywood films, TV. It's using everything it's got to try and convince you of the darkness that's coming. It's trying to convince you. So if you took all that away, you switch off the media, what is there convincing you that you should be afraid? What is there to convince you that darkness is coming, that this horrible, oppressive dystopia is coming? Switch it all off and there is nothing. The media is the image of the beast, and everyone is worshipping the image of the beast. And what does it mean to worship the image of the beast? It means to give it value. If you worship something, you give it great value. So we're all giving value to what the screen is telling us, to what the TV and the media and the entertainment industry are telling us. We're giving it value, we're worshipping it and saying, oh, okay, yeah, you tell me what's real, you tell me what I should think, you tell me what's coming in the future. So we're worshipping the image of the beast, which is the screen, and the beast is coming through the screen, or the beast system, which is a fear system, is coming through the screens, and it's all propaganda, it's all lies, because God's truth is the only truth, and it's a truth of light, peace, joy, and beauty. And you will know that if you turn your mind to God, if you bring Jesus into your heart, allow Jesus' light and love into your heart. There is nothing to lose. There is no downside. There is no reason why you would not want to have Jesus in your heart. It's only pride, it's only arrogance or disbelief, stubbornness that makes people not want to call Jesus, because we will need him. We will need him to keep the light shining brightly in our mind and our heart, because the media is going to be flooding us, absolutely flooding us with fear, darkness, pessimism, some very, very dark scenarios. And they're coming because they're here, they're already here, because people are seeing that we're living in this totalitarian state already. And people are seeing this dark dystopia approaching very rapidly, so people are believing it. So what's happening is the fear that the media is pumping out, which is all propaganda, is going into the people's minds, and once they believe it, once they believe that the media is telling them the truth, once they believe these bad things are going to happen, then that fear comes in to humanity, into the human hearts, and it's going to do some unpleasant things to a lot of people. It's going to drive people crazy. It is driving people to suicide already. People are losing faith, losing hope, getting extremely pessimistic, angry, afraid. People will be rioting, fighting. A lot of dark things will happen because people are believing the fear. So it's really important you don't believe the fear stories coming from media, because it is propaganda, and its only agenda is to get into your heart, to get the darkness into your heart. But it cannot do that if you have a connection to God in your mind, if you have Jesus in your heart. The media is powerless. This is the most important message I want to get across in this video, is the media is powerless, and the dark agenda is coming via the media, the image of the beast. Stop worshipping it. Stop looking at it. Stop giving any attention to it. Give your full attention to God. Read the Bible every day. Inspire yourself every day with the beauty in nature. Spend as much time in nature as you can, especially when the sun is shining. Get outside in the sunshine and let it remind you of God's beauty, God's joy, and God's protection, because you are protected. Keep your mind with God. Keep Jesus in your heart. Speak to them, speak to God, speak to Jesus, and ask them to keep you in the light, and shut off the darkness, shut off the media, stop looking at it, disconnect yourself from it, give no attention to it, give no attention to the darkness, and your mind will become like a fortress of light where God will keep you safe, and you'll be able to live in faith, peace, and joy, no matter what's going on in the outside world. And of course, the book of Revelation tells us there will be some dark and disturbing things happening in the world, but it's only because people are believing the lies. People are worshipping the image of the beast and believing the lies it is telling them. So make sure you're not one of those people. Make sure you keep your mind and heart in peace, in the light, with God. Thank you for watching this video. I wish you well, and God bless you.